Hello and welcome everybody to Game 3 of nukestrike versus ReaL from the Go4SC2 Cup. Holy cow, has this been a series so far. We saw a big all-in from nukestrike in Game 1, was able to deal a lot of economic damage to ReaL early on versus his fast expand, but in Game 2, ReaL with just a huge push from early Colossi, lots and lots of early Colossi, were able to break the bio ghost forces of nukestrike super early on, and ReaL was able to take Game 2, tying it up. So Game 3 is going to be here on ICCup Antiga Shipyards, and spawning in the bottom right position as the red Terran, we have nukestrike. Our winner of Game 2, bringing us to a Game 3, spawning as the orange Terran in the top left position. As the orange Protoss, we have ReaL. Did I say nukestrike was in the bottom right position? For some reason, I just completely second-guessed myself, and for some reason I feel like I said bottom right position. But no, he is indeed in the bottom left position, and ReaL is in the top left position of ICCup Antiga Shipyards. And for those of you that don't know what ICCup is actually this fantastic website. I don't even know what to call it. Website, server, whatever you want to call it. ICCup is this group that in Brood War, they basically hosted their own servers. Very, very competitive, highly competitive servers. They also had their entire series of matches and things. They had their own ladder, so you would actually sign on to a separate server. I never actually signed on to it myself, but I know all about it because I've heard other people talk so highly about it. Lots of Brood War players talk about it all the time, just because that was kind of just the place that all the pros would go play and practice, because all the pros were just on ICCup. It had its own very good ladder system and made it very easy to organize tournaments and things like that. So ICCup was absolutely fantastic, but unfortunately StarCraft 2 does not, as far as I know, support ICCup or any kind of way to log into an ICCup server. In StarCraft 1, I think there was some kind of a mod that you might have had to download, or some kind of special setup that you had to do to be able to connect to the ICCup servers, but in StarCraft 2, I just don't think there's that ability. If you go to the ICCup website, they just don't say anything about StarCraft 2. They still got Brood War, and they still got Warcraft 3, however, though. So if you guys are at all interested in still playing Brood War at a competitive level, then you should definitely go check out that ICCup. Now, nukestrike is going to be going for a 1-Rax expand once again. Notice no gas has yet been taken. Both players were talking a little bit earlier about whether this is a cross-position only map, but as we can see, it clearly is not, as they have both spawned on the left side of the map. nukestrike now throwing down his natural expansion. Looks like ReaL going to be going for the identical build that he has been going for in the previous two games, taking Gateway, followed by Gas, followed by Core, followed by Nexus. And first, looks like he did get one Zealot out early on, interestingly enough, and notice he's planting these forward pylons here. Really like this from ReaL. Allows him to get more vision on the map, allows him to warp in units all over the place and be a little bit more flexible and have a lot more decisions, getting away from that, oh, Protoss kind of always needs to stick into one giant big clump of units, wants to try to get away from that as much as possible. And we're going to start to see this from Protoss players a lot more, utilizing that flexibility to warp in units wherever they want in the blink of an eye. So good, so good, and having pylons all over the map just really helps that. Not to mention, it just gives you vision, and if any drop tends to come this way, he's going to be able to see it right away. Wouldn't even be surprised to see him throw down one over here fairly early on. First Zealot and Stalker is now out here for ReaL, and he's going to be poking up at the front with this Zealot, going to be poking in there, seeing that once again this bunker has gone down, just like in Game 2. He sees that his opponent is being defensive. That's what he instantly knows from seeing that bunker. He reads from his opponent that there is a defensive play going on, and that his opponent is most likely not going for any kind of pressure. Once again, he's going to be leaving this Stalker at the front so that he can continue to poke into the base, so that he can see what is going on in the base of nukestrike anytime he chooses to. And it looks like nukestrike, now that he has this expansion up, going to be going once again for bioforces, as we do see the 1 reactor barracks is up and 2 barracks with tech labs soon to be on the way. In the meantime, if we check out the harvester count right now, we can see fairly even right now. ReaL has been chrono boosting his next eye pretty heavily as he's currently up in harvesters 31 to 26, but that isn't going to be too bad. nukestrike is actually going to be dead even because he has been using a lot of his command center or his orbital energy on getting those mules, and that is going to even that chrono boosting out quite a bit. And now ReaL is going to be taking his third and fourth gas geysers here. First and second gas geysers mining in the main already, and we do see that 3 gateways are now down, as well as a robotics facility here for ReaL. Notice ReaL still doesn't really have a whole lot of idea what his opponent is doing at this point in time. Still has this stalker walking back and forth. Gonna be poking up here again very shortly, I would imagine. Although there is going to be an observer here coming across the field. No, interestingly enough, we are actually seeing, before anything, we're seeing an immortal coming down here for ReaL. This is actually kind of interesting because in Game 2, we saw him go for this fast robotics facility and get a fast observer because he wasn't able to get good scouting information on his opponent here. And here on Antiga Shipyards, for some reason, despite having seen more or less the exact same thing that he saw in Game 2, he has decided to opt to go for that immortal first. I guess he might be going either for some early pressure, or he could potentially be thinking that there is a big push coming here this time around. But no, it looks like he is now starting to move out with a lot of sentries. I love this move here from ReaL, warping in lots and lots of sentries, which are very, very low in mineral count, but high in gas count. And this is going to allow him to get up more gateways, so allows him to get up a lot more minerals to get up gateways, allows him to get more immortals up, because immortals are actually really, really high in mineral count. They actually do cost a lot of minerals, not to mention the fact that sentries continue to get better with time. They are like a fine cheese that just ages and gets better and better and better with time, because sentries develop energy over time. They continue to produce more and more energy, and the longer a sentry is out and not doing anything, well, the better it gets, because the more force fields and guardian shields it's going to be able to have. Whereas if you think about a unit like a zealot or a stalker, once you produce it, if you're not doing anything with it, it kind of loses value over time, right? If you have this stalker and you make it and you just have it sitting in your base the whole time, well, that's time that stalker has been spent. You invested in getting that stalker, and you're not making full use of it. You're not getting out there, you're not dealing damage, you're not doing any kind of, oh my gosh, you're not being sacrificed to a couple of marauders stuck in the middle of the map. That was kind of a bit of bad control there from nukestrike, actually, as he wasn't quite paying attention to that stalker properly. But what I was saying is that if you get units early on, you more or less want to be using them early on. Oh no, and these two marauders, nukestrike traded pretty much blindly for that stalker that he got killed, and holy cow, lots of SCVs now being pulled off the line here for nukestrike, as there are a ton of force fields now going down, preventing these SCVs and a lot of these marines from firing at all. Notice this huge clump of units that aren't firing at all, and these stalkers just free to do damage to everything as much as they want, and these immortals doing absolutely tons of damage to everything as stalkers continue to move in right now. The bunkers are up, and the Marines do finally manage to make it into those bunkers, but they are just going to fall really, really fast. The other bunker does finish, but goes down almost instantly as ReaL continues to do damage. Currently up in food, 81 food to 56, continuing to warp in more units from this forward pylon. Will nukestrike be able to hold off this push? There are so many stalkers here, but it looks like nukestrike just barely is going to have enough to be able to clean up this attack, and with that final stim, looks like he is going to hold off that attack from ReaL. Now, ReaL is still up in the food count right now, and there is a factory for nukestrike that is scouting his opponent's base right now, so he can see if there are reinforcements heading down along the way. But it looks like ReaL has decided that as much damage as he could do has been done. If we check out the harvester count right now, we can see 48 to 33. ReaL way up in harvesters, getting so many worker kills. 24 workers killed so far for ReaL, so he is in a fantastic position. And now he's just going to be focusing down that scouting factory for nukestrike. Now we do see 5 gateways are now down for ReaL, and it looks like he's now going to be adding on a Twilight Council here, most likely going to be looking to take a third here. Considering the amount of damage that he did, all he needs to do right now is he needs to pretty much continue to produce workers, take a third right now, because his opponent really isn't in a very good position to take a third right now. His army was just taken out. He's going to be producing lots and lots of workers, but as we can see, nukestrike actually focusing quite a bit right now on producing a lot of units. We see lots of barracks currently down for nukestrike. Oh god, I can't think of the word right now. Additionally, compared to the 1 reactor and 2 tech lab barracks that we had, we are now seeing a couple more being added on. 1 more barracks with a reactor is being added on. Good God, that took me forever to say. Holy cow. Oh my God. These games weren't even that long. What the heck is wrong with me? How am I supposed to do a live tournament tomorrow? But ReaL is coming in here for a second time, trying to do a little bit more damage here. It looks like he's decided he wants to continue to be aggressive, wants to be sure his opponent isn't being too greedy and taking any more bases here. But nukestrike is moving out here, and there are now ghosts into this army, and he needs to be very careful because those ghosts, if they get off good EMPs, are going to be able to do a lot of damage. No, they don't have enough energy for the EMPs, and they get taken out before really being able to do much damage at all. And now the forces of ReaL are now pushing forward, and nukestrike in a very precarious position right now as he's continuing to produce more and more bioforces as quick as he can. He did manage to pick up some of his army there to be able to do it, but ReaL is in a very good position here to continue to deal more damage, and he is now pushing in with lots of zealots, staying at the front. Needs to get all these other zealots to the front as well. SCV's once again being pulled off the line here for nukestrike as he moves down the ramp. No more ghosts in the mixture, just strict marine marauder and nothing else. Force fields going down, preventing so many of these marauders. Look at all these units in the back that aren't shooting at all, being forced to squeeze through this tiny little space, and it looks like he does actually have enough to clean that up quite decisively, and he's now going to start to move across the map. All of his bioforces are currently 0-1 in upgrades to the 0-0 upgrades of ReaL, and I think that's actually helping nukestrike out a ton. I think that upgrade is actually absolutely critical. He's now just hitting 1-1, and I think that was absolutely critical to winning that fight. And that's the only reason he won that fight so decisively. I thought ReaL actually had it until I saw the upgrades there. And now, ReaL needs to be very careful right now. These marauders do have that concussive shell ability, which slows down those stalkers, slowly starts to peel some of those units out of the group. And ReaL now a little bit on the defensive here as he needs to get some colossi out here very soon. We don't see any colossi at all. Strictly zealot immortals at the front right now. Some force fields going down here for nukestrike, but is ReaL going to be able to hold this? He is continuing to warp in more units. nukestrike not really bringing in more forces. He has some forces that are still being left out there, but all of these 1-1 Marine Marauder are just burning through these gateway units so quickly. They're so strong with all of these upgrades to the 0-0 units of ReaL, and ReaL might just barely be able to hold this. These Immortals are doing a fantastic job of holding off these Immortals, but they did now run out of shields, and it looks like nukestrike just managing to burn through the rest of him, and I don't know about this choice of Stalkers here from nukestrike. I think what really would have benefited him against all these Marauders from nukestrike are Zealots. I think he really needed Zealots in that mixture. Now, finally, we do have the first Colossus out here for ReaL, but there are lots of Bioforces that continue to barrel down the throat of ReaL as these forces continue to just move in so strongly with this Colossus out, though. I think ReaL might actually be able to hold this off. He's doing everything he can to try to hold this off as the Colossus is going to go down. Oh no, the Colossus is lost, and now that is going to be a big loss here as he is not producing any more Colossi. There are Immortals on the way right now for ReaL, as he is running out of minerals in the main and in the natural. I really think a third a little bit earlier while he was doing that damage with that first attack would have been much more wise than going for that second attack. But as we can see, he is now just in this very precarious position as the 1-1 forces of nukestrike are going to continue to grow and grow here at the front of nukestrike's main. Medevacs did get caught a little bit off guard there as these stalkers are going to start to focus down some of these medevacs, and he's losing quite a few medevacs carelessly there, but the remainder of nukestrike's forces do come out now, and nukestrike is now up in the food count. We don't see any orbital command coming down. Both these players strictly determined to base right now as they are just continuing to pump more and more units out of what the current production structures they currently have. We do see the blink research is done, and there we go, blinking now up into the main base, going to be focusing down the reactor on that starport, and as well as the tech lab on that barracks. Nice pick off there by ReaL as he is now just going to pull right out of that base and be in an okay spot after having done some guaranteed damage. This tech lab and reactor is now going to have to be rebuilt, which is going to stop a lot of production time here from nukestrike. Going to slow him down quite a bit, but look at this bio ball from nukestrike as it is getting really big. 115 food to 107 right now, and these stalkers need to be real careful because, like I said, with stim and concussive shell, these stalkers could all get caught off guard there. And there we go, ReaL is now just trying to blink out of the base, and I love this move here from nukestrike, not stimming up his entire army, just stimming up a small group, enough of a chunk there with marauders in it to be able to slow those stalkers. And oh, he's trying to cut off these stalkers from being able to get home here. And is he going to be caught out there in the middle of the map? Yes, he does manage to lose a couple of stalkers there, and he's just going to continue to warp in more units back home. But I really think Colossi is what he really needs against this such heavily bio-oriented army. And oh no, ReaL might actually lose a lot of these stalkers as the bio forces here from nukestrike are going to be moving in here, starting to deal lots and lots of damage. Nice blink up onto the high ground here from ReaL as one unit does go up there as a little bit of a scout here, and now nukestrike is moving in with all of his forces, stimming in everything. He's got force fields going down all over everything, trying to prevent a lot of these bio forces from moving here, but nukestrike just has so many units, and ReaL just has no upgrades right now. All these units are still 0-0 in upgrades, and the bio forces are just so strong right now. These bio forces are currently 2-1 in upgrades, and they are completely allowing nukestrike to run over ReaL right at the front of his own base, and ReaL is forced to GG here out of Game 3, meaning nukestrike takes the series 2-0. Brilliant play there by nukestrike. Hope you guys enjoyed that best of 3. That is going to do it for me. Once again, I'm going to be casting tomorrow for Team Air versus UC Irvine. Come check me out. Just follow me on Twitter. I will tweet a link before I go live, I promise you. And come watch me cast a live tournament between some really good players. I have seen both of these teams play before. Team Air has some absolutely amazing players right now, and they're a good up-and-coming team to watch. Right now, they're still kind of a small team, but I heard that they are going to be acquiring some real good players here very soon. And you're going to start to see them doing really well at some MLGs very soon. So if you want to see a little bit of amateur team league stuff going on, check out my Twitter, and I will tweet the link to Team Air and all that good stuff later on. And I think that's going to do it in terms of announcements. Yeah, it's going to be tomorrow. That is going to be Wednesday the 8th, February 8th, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Check out my Twitter, and I will be tweeting the address for that. Come check me out casting live, making all the mistakes, and you guys get to hear every single one. Yay! All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks, guys. Glitch out.